Hey Dan, finally got a chance here to look at your pizza order program. Sorry that didn't happen yesterday. I got stuck at a dentist appointment. So here we are looking at this. I can see where this, just by your design, got away from you a little bit, and you're adding good things here, so I don't fault you for that. But you just added some things where it starts getting pretty complex, and there's some things we're going to learn, even things we're learning this week that would have made what you were doing here easier, and things we'll learn down the road that make this a lot easier too. You did with how you had this structured with all these need to put your variables global, so they existed in all these. With what we're learning this week about some of the if-thens and stuff, you definitely would be able to redesign this to keep things a little more local, but that's okay for this as far as how you did it. And actually, with you saying that things weren't calculating correctly, I do think your calculations here for the materials, would be at the 11, 13, and 15-inch pizzas, those are working correctly. And actually, when you're calculating the total, you're adding in, I guess, the labor and the delivery charge and rent and that kind of thing, and then these different subtotals for the materials and the toppings kind of thing. I do notice that you left out your subtotal for the sausage one, right? So I don't know if that's one issue that you were having and just didn't realize it. Oops. That you left out subtotal 4 in here, right? So adding that maybe was one thing. The other thing that I really see as an issue with all these toppings, you use these check changed event. Now the problem is, if the check property is true, you want to make the subtotal 50 cents. But if the check property is false, if they unchecked it, you don't want it to be 50 cents, and so I think that's the problem. And just by your design of this, this is something that's real easy to do with our if-then statements that we're learning about this week. But so all you needed really here was if check pepperoni, if its checked property is true, then we're going to make the subtotal for pepperoni's 50 cents. Now, what if it's false? Because it could be. Just because the check change thing got triggered doesn't really tell me if the check box is checked or not. So we could just do an else in here, which means that the check pepperoni checkbox is its check property is false. Then in that situation, subtotal 2 we want to equal 0, right? Because we're not charging them 50 cents. So I think, statements like this, which I know you didn't know about yet, we're learning about if-thens this week, would have made this a lot easier for you. And this is the easiest way for you to kind of fix this design. I think there'd be other ways based on what you knew last week, but this is the kind of the easiest way right now, and I think we just need to take the easiest route and get you caught up and get this turned in. So I think now with those changes, 11-inch pizzas, 930. I think that's the correct calculation for doing that stuff. If we check the pepperoni and chick order, it went up 50 cents. If we uncheck it, click order, it goes down 50 cents. So I think we got it there with how it is. So if you add if-then else statements like this for your different subtotals on those different check boxes, I think it'll calculate how you were wanting it to. So let me know if that helps, and if it doesn't, we can get together on that some more.